Hello, RK. I have been going well. Almost missed a week, but we made it, I think. I think today's the 1 week mark since the last stream. I've been going well. Dealing with a lot of assessments. I have one set of assessments with a team that I still don't even know who they are yet. And they have, they're not messaging me back. So that's not great. And I have a whole nother team where we're now dealing with, we have to go use Unreal Engine to make our game. And I've never touched Unreal Engine before, outside of a few testing things. I hate it, but have to learn it at some point, maybe, I guess. Other than that, I've been going pretty well. How about yourself? As long as you have at least some clarity. Yeah, that's fair. Doing well. That's good to hear. Okay, well, we should probably jump into it then. Today what we're going to be doing is going to be very simple. It's a little bit later of a stream. Usually I like to start an hour earlier. At most, half an hour earlier, but a little bit later. What I want to do today is I want to get some character animations in. Now, I mentioned this last time, is we're not going to have a complete character model yet. So instead, what I'm going to do is use a pre-made robot humanoid 3D model, and then we'll get some animations in there just for basically placeholder animations. That way we can just see how well it works, right? Does it make the game feel more smooth and stuff? And that's what I want to do today. So that'll be the next 2, maybe 3 hours. I am at checkout to test if I am well suited for service. Interesting. Well, hopefully you're all well suited. That'd be good. I'm trying to get it to display. Let me go. I think that'll work. Yeah. So this is the asset that I'm planning on using. Robot Kyle from Unity. It's not the best model, but it's not the worst, right? And basically what we're going to do, the very first step today, is we're going to be jumping into Blender, not Unity, and we're going to cut both of the arms off. Because it's a first-person controller, we just want the arms. We do not care about the body. And again, we'll change that, as we develop the game. I'm thinking about having at least some form of character creator. But that'll be well down the track. But the animation we make with Robot Kyle should be able to port directly into our character model when we go ahead and make one in the future. So this will be what we're doing. And the first step to do that is we need to actually go get Robot Kyle into our scene, bring him into Blender, cut him up, and send it back into Unity. So because this is a Unity asset, we're gonna have to actually download it into Unity first, and then we should be able to just take the FBX, take the model essentially out from here. You don't care as long as you don't have a chance to see yourself in a mirror. Pretty much. I do want to add co-op at some point. So I'm trying to develop a lot of my systems around co-op being added in the future. It's part of the reason why the player, for example, right now just has like movement control, but like the arsenal, for example, it's all on the player prefab, because we're going to potentially have multiple player objects in the scene for some co-op multiplayer gameplay. So at some point, we'll need an actual character model, but we don't need that for now. Could you make it an option to have the ability to see yourself in game mirrors? Yes, absolutely. So I don't want to sacrifice visual fidelity, which is going to be tough trying to get it onto the Switch in the future, but I want actual reflections. And we can do that actually pretty simply. So because of the way my stuff is set up right now, we can get ray tracing in. Like my setup that I've done is essentially set up for ray tracing if I want to have it. So it'll probably be an option in settings, so you don't have to worry if your computer can't handle it. But I can essentially add in screen space reflection, and I just have to enable it in the project settings, wherever that is, here, screen space reflections, and then we can just go ray tracing like that, like as simple as possible. And if I have this as essentially an option in graphic settings, I should still be able to get it in things like, I mean the real player face, like, can you turn on your camera and see your actual self? That one, probably not. That would be a bit tricky to implement, and it never ends up working well. Like, if you've seen some of the stuff that the Switch 2 does, because they have it where you can see your character, like, you can see through your camera, it's not great, you know, I mean, it just looks weird, I think. But we can, at the very least, get all of the in-game stuff working with reflections, and you can at least see everything that's in the game. Like that there. And it's actually not too performant on, like, your performance. Like, it's not too destructive on your frame rate. So it's not great, I will say that much, but it's not the worst. And it's really easy to implement. Like I said, I just enable one setting basically. But for now, we'll leave that off. Okay, let's go ahead and download Kyle. It might be disabled. Let's see. Something is better than nothing. It's true. Meant it as a joke, but I haven't heard that anyone has done it. Yeah, so let's actually go Nintendo Switch 2. Let me bring this up. Camera. So they have it as a feature. I don't know what to search up to actually have it work or show. I'm just trying to think on which ones have it. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know if it's Mario Party, because I don't think that's on the Switch 2 yet. It might be, but there's a few games, yeah, here. Like, there's a few games on the Switch 2 where they allow you to put in your webcam, and then you can actually play the game using your camera. And it's very janky. It's a very, very janky experience. But they've been rolling that out when the Switch 2 essentially got released. And yeah, very janky. Where's Kyle? I should have it somewhere. Hidden assets? Here it is. Yeah, let's unhide the asset for now. There we go. Now we can download Robot Kyle. And we're gonna like immediately delete this because I really don't care to have the whole asset. And we're just gonna import it, and then we'll basically, yeah, extract it into Blender, cut up, just take the arms, bring it back into Unity. It's just importing right now. I know a Discord server if you want to ask questions from people that are in a same or similar area of production if you want. I mean, if you want to send anything, you can. I try to keep my Discord pretty clean. Like, I'm on my second Discord account at this point because it was getting too much and too annoying to actually have to delete a ton of servers. So I try not to join too many servers now. Could be interesting. Could be something that I join in the future, especially as I ramp up towards like an actual beta for the game, and like demos and stuff. Then I want to get it out a lot more and get feedback from a ton of different people, developers, gamers, everything. Here we go. I don't know what's going on with hot reload. Okay, Unity Technologies, Space Kyle, models. We're going to go ahead and extract this. Now, Kyle is built for URP, so we're going to have to make a new model for him anyways as well. So let's go ahead and just remove any animations and import the FBX. Here we go. Now we got Kyle, the 3D model. Does he have materials set up? Doesn't look like it. That's fine. Now, I haven't used Kyle before, so I don't know how well this rig is set up. I mean, for one, having all of the bones like this is not usually how it's supposed to work. You're not supposed to have them sticking out like this. But because it's individual pieces, I think is why they're doing it like this. Yeah, I'd say so. Okay. Let's clean this up, and then we'll get to chopping it up. First, we want to render all the bones in front. And let's also go ahead and just start deleting parts of Kyle, because we do not need almost any of this. Doesn't look like I'm going to be able to just select it all though, so that's a bit annoying. We should be able to select at least the legs though. Oh, not there. We can delete all of them. And then for this stuff, we might just need a loop selected all. Let me just start manually drag selecting all of the head essentially. Let's delete that and that. And let's go ahead and just disconnect the arms. Then we should be able to delete everything else. So select all of that. There we go. Now we just have Kyle's arms. And what we're going to do as well is we're going to bring in our player capsule model that we have. This here. So this is the player model that I always use. This is my default capsule, just so I can see where the player's looking. And we're going to use this as a size reference. So for one, it looks like Kyle needs to rotate the other direction. Because we're using, I think this is, positive Y is forward, negative Y is backwards. I think that makes more sense. Okay. Honestly, the sizing is not too bad off rip. We'll want to bring in the camera. So we'll go ahead and just go to the player camera, and we're going to essentially copy the transform and any of the stats that we have here. So it's at Y 1.39 above the bottom of the player. So that'll be easy to do. We'll create a new camera. Reset rotation. Rotate it up so it's looking forward. It's Pentacle Productions. It was made by YouTuber Hylactic for indie creators to come together and help each other. Yeah, I might check it out. There's no real reason why I can't join it, at least initially, right? And see if it'll be useful. Let me actually... I'll go ahead and write it in my personal Discord so I remember that name. There we go. Okay. Cool. I'll check that out at some point, maybe after stream or so. The link is in Hylactic's bio. Sounds good. Okay. This should be correct. We need to make it so that this camera can ignore the player. Which I don't actually know how to do in Blender. Not here. In object properties panel under visibility, ray visibility, which... Oh no, I think that's actually for character model. Actually no, this doesn't matter because we can delete the character model. Yeah. Okay. By the way, cool arms, cannot wait for the whole body. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this will be a placeholder. The actual model will probably be a human instead of a robot. Though I might have a robot option because I do kind of like robots with this type of stuff. But let's go ahead and get a general pose going on just so we can test how well the stuff is positioned, because we can see here clearly the arms are well outside of scope, so we can move them forward by potentially quite a bit. Well, you can see pretty much this rectangle is where they're going to show up, right? If it's right on the ends here. So if we had it somewhere here, what's that going to look like? We're going to see the shoulder blades, which we don't want to see. The robot can canonically be the body armor. That is true. That is indeed true. I mean, it's a semi sci-fi world, so it's not like having robots or having, you know, full robotic suits would be outside of the rules. Why is this not dissolving? Like this should just dissolve, but it's not. Okay, we can just delete bones, I guess. That works. Let's grab them. And we don't need the shoulder blades either. There we go. Now we still need to figure out how to make this work visually, which I'm not sure on. Like, you don't want the shoulder blades to show, so like something here. But then, as we're rotating, like, the arms... Because, like, pretty much from this pose here, you should be able to see the arms for a first-person controller. You know what this world now needs? A slime armor. That is true. That could potentially be... It could be a craftable item. It could be... It could be a slime's ability to, like, enwrap around a... like, around the player. And basically make it armor. That could be cool. Yeah. We might need to scale these down, I'm thinking. I don't know how else we're going to make this work. I mean, the arms clearly are a bit too far out right now. But if we scale them... I don't know. Let's try to center the origin a bit more, though. Is there something down there? No? Oh, the center's gonna be like that. Okay. Oh, it's better than nothing. Like, if we scale it down, right, and then move it back, I mean, you're, like, somewhat seeing them. If we could scale it down a lot and then move them back. I do not know how this works. Move them down like that. Give the player an immunity for fall damage and ability to climb. That could be cool. That definitely could be cool. Okay, I think I just need to search up. How do I position first-person controller arms? Because this camera is very clearly not working. This is the actual camera settings, right? So the camera cannot change. Only the arms can change. I mean, these are still sticking out a bit, so maybe we could rotate them in. That would help. Like that. And rotate these up more. Like we're thinking, think about like a jump animation. Your arms are gonna like launch up a bit. That's kind of the pose I'm looking for, just to see how it will actually look. What's your new endeavor to overcome and make yours? Yep. I've done animation and stuff, but I mean, like, when I do animation in Blender, I usually do animation, like filmic animation. So you're filming a whole character. First person animations are very, very different, because you have to get the arms to work in the camera, but arms don't usually work that way. Like, that's not the worst. If you were to launch up and with your arms like that, could increase the scale a bit. Go 0.204. The other option is if you move it too far close, you're not gonna see the forearm or like the bicep, sorry. And if it's too far out or like away from the camera, you're gonna see too much of the shoulders. So you basically just wanna get a good blend there. Further out you go. I mean, you could try to go a little bit lower. We might honestly try to just get the texture file working, because it's a bit hard to fully see the depth right now. So let's do that. Let's go. Materials. Okay. Yeah, base material. There we go. Now we have something that we can actually see to get a bit of depth in. So right now, your arms are up, and you can basically just see your forearm. I think that's a little bit too... What would the word be? Like, I think that's too much, or too little, I guess, bicep that you're seeing. So definitely want to bring that up more. Like, to get something like that isn't the worst. It's just you don't want to see your shoulder sockets, right? I mean, that'd be bad. Could scale it down more. Then you can bring it forward further. Even bring it up a bit. I mean, my issue is just like, it feels very short. Like, it makes your arms feel and look kind of very short compared to what they should be, because you have this old bicep, which is like the same size as the forearm. But when you see it like this, you don't see any of that. I mean, you can do extra animation to kind of pull it out, but it's not great. Let's scale a bit more. If we move it up and just move it out. Or forward. I mean, I feel like moving it forward would be fine. I mean, how much do you normally even see in a character control? I guess that's the question, right? Let's really just see how much you're supposed to kind of see. Here. Okay, I mean, you mostly see, like, just the forearm, right? Like, you don't need to see the whole bicep, like the whole arm. Okay. Well, in that case, we can probably... make this a little bit cleaner then. Let's go ahead and just re-import this. Let me import FBX. Let's try this again. Let's make it a little bit cleaner. So we can delete this faster. We'll just delete the ring here. And we'll go ahead and delete this whole shoulder connection, frankly. Because it's just going to get in the way when we go to animate. And then with that gone, we can just actually manually select everything. Delete it all. And give it the robot texture. And let's go ahead and delete all of these bones. There we go. Okay. If we were to now pose this in a way where the player essentially has launched up, like they've jumped or something. One arm's gonna go up like that. The other arm over here. So put them in front again. The other arm even higher up. Like that. Okay. So now we can make them smaller. We just want to keep an eye on that scale as well. Let's also move the... yeah, we'll keep the center mass for now. Let's go 0.0075. That's a quarter less on scale. Then we can move the root up. Move it forward a bit. Let's see how much we're seeing. Pretty much nothing. So we can move it very far forward. And let's definitely shrink this even further. And basically what we want in terms of the size is the two arms should be about here and here. Right, so mostly on the edge, a little bit in. So I think this scale, we could try 0.4. Something like that, I think. That's a decent scale for the shoulders. Though, when we obviously move it, it'll change a bit, but... Let's see. Could go 0.001 potentially. I mean, if we have it like super close to camera type of thing. that. Then you can see the arms at least decently. Move it a little bit further in. Let's try a 0.002 scale. I mean, frankly, if you're in a punching pose, right, that's just going to be straight on. So imagine this pose as well. You should also still see the arm. So let's see what that pose looks like. It's a bit low, so we can move this up. And then we can move it a bit out to have the shoulder blades out. Something like there's not bad. I mean, you can clearly see the arm for a punch as your arm launches if you jump. That also works pretty well. And another good way to test if a pose is good is if you were like shooting something essentially, so holding it like a weapon, is what would that look like? And the answer is probably something like this. Like that. So if the character was holding a weapon like that, is that normal? I would say, yeah, probably just about. So we'll just move this a little bit lower, I think. Something like that, because you don't really want the shoulder panels. At least not much. Or realistically, not any. So let's go like 1.22. 0.0022, sorry. And just move this out like so. And there should be no shoulder panels, which will be good. I think that's good. I think. I don't know. First person controllers are very, very weird. Because, like, if you look, right, that's tiny. I mean, we bring in the player model again. Here. I mean, you can clearly tell, right? Those are not arms. Those are tiny things in the visor. But that it looks like an arm out from out here. I just feel like that's surely not how it's normally done. I mean, I know that it's going to be done a little bit separately from the body, but that was tiny compared to an actual body. I mean, the other option is bring this back up to the full scale. And connect it to a body like that. Yeah, you're not going to see that at all. And unless you bring that forward like that. I mean, maybe like that, like 0.0075, I guess. And if we just focus on the forearm, something like that. It's not the worst, to be honest. Let's hide the bones. And if you jump, your arm swings up like that. It's not the worst. I honestly, I think we'll actually go with this. Because it just makes a little bit more sense, right? Like, here, let me show this and delete it. We got the character model. That will be easier for me to animate. Because I'll actually be able to kind of see it in reference to the player. Which is what you want. I don't know if this is how it's meant to be done, but it's how it's gonna be done. So now we can go ahead and reset all of the poses. And that'll be essentially your arm rig there. Where, in general, you shouldn't see it at all. So actually, we might need to pull that back a bit. Because we pretty much do not want shoulders at all. That's a big no. It's like even like here. Also. I think it'll work. We'll see. We shall see. For now, let's go ahead and just export this into an FBX. And we'll bring this back into Unity. Select all of it, hierarchy, then export it. There we go. And now we can go ahead and just delete file from Unity. We do not need it. Okay, I really don't know what's going on with hot reload right now. We might just stop it. We're not coding, so we don't need anything. We don't need hot reload active, at least. Okay. Now we can bring in the placeholder arms model. And just give that to the player. And let's see what's going on here. Why is that happening? Okay, we can apply rotation, I guess. Well, apply location, rotation, all of that. Yeah, let's apply all transforms. Let's just call that root. We export it. I don't know what's going on here. I mean, we can just create... No. create a parent. What is going on? Let's just unpack this. Put these. Well, actually, sorry. No, yeah, okay. Oh, hold up. What am I even doing? Let's just re-import it fully. Okay. What is even happening? Put that in root. No, because then why is that? This shouldn't be on 0, 0. I'm very confused right now. So it looks like, okay, so if the issue is the root, then if I just select hierarchy in Blender and apply all transforms to everything, will that fix it? Let me just delete this, re-import it. No. Oh, actually, sorry. No. I mean, just pushed everything out. That's stupid. Because everything should be zeroed. So the issue is right now, this is not zeroed. So it's creating a game object as if it is zeroed when it shouldn't be. Which doesn't even make any sense, frankly. But essentially what we need to do is if we had nothing applied, so no transforms are applied, then we ran it and add this in, then both of these are centered again. Unless we can re-import it, if that would change anything. Oh, no, that didn't even keep everything this time. I don't know why exporting has to be so hard. What? No, it just keeps missing the entire object. What is going on? Select hierarchy. It should have the root and should have the mesh. Can we export as an FBX? And we bring it in. There we go. So now these are all how they're meant to be. We'll call this placeholder arms. And let's unpack this. And we're going to put Robot Kyle and the root into placeholder arms. Put that into the player. And then placeholder arms, we're going to rotate back to 0. And basically, we're just going to apply on the Z the opposite of what it is. And that's wrong. Of course it is. Did a Y of 0.5 for that camera. And the player cam was sort of 1.39. Am I going crazy? Is this just not applied correctly, the camera? It's a 60mm focal length. 60mm field of view. Oh. Oh. That makes sense. That makes a lot more sense. Now, if we were to just reset all of this. Okay. And we were to throw a punch. Like that. And try to hold a weapon of some form on this arm. Now we can bring this root forward a bit. I was wondering why it wasn't working. I was thinking, surely I don't have to scale it down to the size where the arms are the size of the like eyes, but no, the field of view was just using millimeters instead of field of view, which makes sense. If we're holding a gun, that's going to be around centered, something like that. And if we apply the character model, see, that makes more sense. And it works pretty well here as well. Like, we remove that. So that's basically what it should be looking like. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Honestly, that was painful. And I'm going to have to do this all over again when we actually get a model. But for now, we can leave it as this. I'd like to not have all these duplicate names in here. Now we can export this out as the FBX. And we're going to be importing it again. Bring this into the player. And now we're just going to rotate this by 180 degrees. Like so. And that should just work. I think that's right. No. Of course it's not. I mean, it should be forward by 0.2. So let's actually see. If I were to rotate this, is that going to be correct? No, it's not. Okay. So let's go 0.28 and we'll apply that here if it lets me. It does not want to let me. What's going on here? There we go. 0.2. And that's clearly wrong. Should be 0.2 on the Y, which would be 0.2 on the Z. That's clearly wrong. Because you can clearly see, like, if we add the character model back, it should be basically halfway through the goggles here. Whereas that's clearly not. I mean, we could... No, like, dividing's clearly not working. We could manually just put it in place. I mean, that feels stupid. We do need to change the X. That should stay at 0 at all times. Let's try to flatten it here. We'll just line that up. It'll be something like that. which looks goofy, by the way, having the arms at the visor instead of the shoulder, but that's a first-person character controller for you. Okay. Let's go ahead and add in... we'll actually put these in its own folder inside a player. We'll call this arms. And we'll call this prefabs. And we'll have another one for materials. And let's go ahead and create the placeholder arms underscore mat. We can remove the spacebar or the underline. Maybe? What is going? Why can't I just rename properly? Come on. Thank you. Okay, placeholder arms underscore mat. And we will just import all of the textures. We'll add that in. This is the metallic and the normal map, which will make sure it's already set to normal, which is good. And we will give this that model. And we'll just need to do some slight smoothness remapping so that you're not getting overshine. I think that's good. Okay. Now we can get to getting some animations added. So what I want is when you sprint, you should see your arms for sprinting. When you jump, you should kind of have like a jump animation. And when you are aiming and you throw your slimes. So we can probably start with sprinting, I think would be the best one to start with. So let's have a look at that. Let's get the arms in a general running pose immediately. Be something like this. And then this one will be all the way out the front. Just curl in the fingers a little bit. Let's grab the ends and we'll curl it in even further, something like that. Would be decent. I don't know what's going on with this one. Let's just reposition them if we have to. Go, and we have a look at what that's going to look like. It should be fine. So let's set this as the initial keyframe. So we'll just select everything and add a keyframe. And the running cycle will probably be maybe 2 swings, I think. Like one full swing for both arms per second. So that'll be 12 frames to swing up, and then 12 frames to swing back. Let's give that a try. So let's bring back the character model so we can see what we're doing. And we're just going to swing back. It's a cool arm. It is a very cool arm. I was trying to figure out what like arm model I wanted to use because it's a placeholder. So you don't want to, you know, spend too much time on the asset. But I think this one works pretty well. It's better than most human arms because the human arms that you can find online, then they're just not going to match the art style, so it's going to feel off while we're building upon the game. Whereas this will at least be a little bit better. We don't have auto keyframes on. Whoops. Okay, let's just redo that. Auto keyframes are now on, which means that as we're posing this, it's just going to update the animation for us. Like, it's going to save, the animation. So we just do something like that. And we'll swing this arm forward. Like so. And we can, honestly, we can just copy this and paste it over at 24. And let's make the animation end at frame 24. That way we can see the loop. Hide the character model. And here's what you get. Very janky. And we're just going to iterate on it. But by the looks of it, I would say it's going a little bit too fast and there's no hold animation, which is a given. So what we'll do then, we'll extend this out to 36 frames, so 1.5 seconds for a full loop. Move this over to 36, and halfway point then will become 18, I believe, yeah. And let's see. Okay, I'd say that's a bit too slow. Maybe we just go like 30 or so. So frame 15 and then frame 30. We can bring that dope sheet up a bit. 30, there we go. Might drop another few frames like that. I think that'll work. Remove the end frames. I think that's a decent-ish speed. I mean, we'll see. Obviously, we still need to refine this animation a lot. So we'll see, but okay. So the arm's here, which means halfway through this swing, which is at frame 14, so it's at frame 7, the arms should be beginning to, I believe, curl up. So if we have a look, I'll explain exactly what I'm doing here, is run animation cycle. So this will give you a good example on how to animate something, is these run cycles, which, if it actually swaps, there we go. So basically, as you run, your force is going to be applied on your front leg, which is going to push you down, and your arm is swinging forward, and it pretty much reaches the end right before you start going down, right? So right about here. Then as you go down, it starts to swing back and you push off, which is what makes you go up again. And it stretches out the leg, pushes off, swings all the way back, and your back arm reaches the end as you're reaching the start. So this is a full cycle. That's generally what you use as animation reference for video game cycles. So we don't have the bottom half of the character to work with, so we're just relying on the front here. But essentially, we want to have a curled up arm until we reach the front, and even when we get to the back, it's not perfectly straight. So here, we're going to want a slightly curled arm as we're swinging forward, like that. And then at frame 14, it's really like near 90 degrees, like that. Cool, well explained. Yeah, like it's quite simple once you kind of understand it. It's a bit hard to explain with this 2D reference, but it's the best way to think of animation is you're never animating an arm, you're never animating a leg. You're animating a leg going down, which is going to change how the body twists, which is going to change how the arms bend back. You have to animate the whole body, because I mean, it's basically just weight transference, right? So as your weight's going all on one leg, well, what's your other leg doing? Well, there's no weight on it, so it's going to be swinging. And obviously, once your weight's all the way down, I mean, as you swing past, you're not just move leg forward and step, you're actually launching off your what was your front foot, now your back foot. So as long as you keep weight transference in mind when animating, you tend to be pretty well off. So this right arm is going back, which means that it should be pretty much relatively not, I wouldn't say straight, but it's not as bent as the one on the left. And that's because this arm is swinging back. So you're getting in the motion of straightening the arm as you reach the back. Whereas when you're running forward, like when your arm's swinging forward, you're going into the bend motion. So we start here, a little bit less straight, something like that. And it's just like there. And you're swinging a little bit more. And then you reach the end. And your arm is straight. And then you need to swing back. So, what, 14, that should be 21. And your arm will be a little bit more straight. Let's go to this side. You're swinging back, which means the arm should be more straight. Like this. And then as it swings forward again, it's going to be a lot more bent. Like so. And you reach 30, and you'll be bent even more. Let's see what that looks like now with a little bit more motion to it. Great. The next step is going to be the actual left to right sway, because obviously your arms aren't literally just going front and forward, because again, all goes back to weight transference. As you're running, let's see if I can find a better look for you. I don't think there's going to be any good looks, but if you see here, his body is twisted, right? This shoulder blade is pushed back, while this one's pushed forward. And that... Oh, sorry, actually, it's not even showing, is it? Honestly. There. Okay, this right shoulder blade pushed far back, while the left one is pushed forward because the body itself is twisting as it's interacting with all of the weight being applied on your right foot. And that means that your arms are swaying left to right as you run, which is why you know your arms aren't going straight forward. So the way that we need to animate that, because we don't have a body for first person, we're not really moving the whole arm as much as we'll just give it some shift like this, right? So right arm is swinging back, which means that it's going to be swinging out. And it's pretty much right at the in-between, which is at frame 7. That's where your arm's going to be the furthest out as possible. So we'll go something like this. It's something like there. That's at frame 6. Let's go frame 7. So swings a little bit out, and then it will stay out as it's swinging your arm back. So something like this, and even further out a bit. Swings. And like I said, your arm's going to be as swung out pretty much as it's halfway, as it's swinging back. So it's not going to be as swung out once you get to the behind. So just want to animate that in a decent manner. And then as we swing back, again, arms a little bit stuck out. And this time, because your body, like your entire shoulder blade is moving forward as you swing, you're actually going to be swung further in than you'd think. So let's just see what that looks like. It's a bit wonky. Let's go. Let's move the arm in a bit more, but move the shoulder out more. Swing. It's a bit unnatural. We might just need to adjust some of the curves as well. But there, and then it will swing out again at frame 21. Right, this shoulder. I mean, it's a little bit more natural than, as you can see, than the left one. Still not great. I mean, this is a very rough animation. And the bones are not exactly set up too well, but it should be fine. Then let's go ahead and do the left arm as well. And you'll see this way, I mean, if we already hit play, you'll see just how, like, the arm isn't just going straight up, it's moving a little bit from the right in, which is what you want. Now, this is still not great. This still needs to come in a lot more. So we'll adjust that, but it's getting there. So we'll rotate it like that. And swing this out a little bit more. At frame 21, which is the most important frame, is the in-betweens. We'll just rotate the arms like that. Check the camera as it swings in. And back out. So now let's go here. Frame 7 going to be swung out again on the shoulder blade, but the arm itself will be twisted further in. Not too much though, because I don't want to break the arm. Like that. Okay. Let's see this, how this works here. Okay. So we need the shoulders going back, but we need to actually push it out as well. It's not just twisting at the top, right? It's actually pushing the arm out. So now that'll twist a little bit better. Stick it even further out so that we can bring the arm in. Like so. And then that way we can twist this arm by quite a bit. Like so. And that's where we're going to get the arm in. And as it swings back out, shoulder blade's going to be sticking out again. And the arm, when it's at the back, it's also twisted back. So something a little bit like that. That's where in the in-between, we are also twisting the arm slightly. So, goes out as it's swinging forward in. That might be a little bit too far out, so we can probably adjust that just a little bit straighter arm. Like that. Swings in. And we'll make a holder. Which a holder is basically just a frame that's the same as the previous frame. And it just keeps the animation from immediately as it hits the top, it goes straight back down. And there's another way that we can do it as well, which is just actually smoothing out the animation, which we might do as well. So that can be done in the graph editor here. And basically we just want to isolate the rotation so we can hide all of this. Okay, so when it reaches the top, which is frame 14, and we look at the X rotation here, let's hide everything else. It's flat, right? Like there's a line, like obviously this goes, how do I explain it? This is going down, but it's a linear line, so it's a straight line here and a straight line back out. If we added in some smoothing, which it's already on Bezier, we just need to basically actually smooth it more, which is on the two handle types here, is you can skew it, as you can see. So it just literally skews it out. And if we do a skew like this, it'll go to a lower value earlier on, and then it'll slowly get to the top and swing back down slower. Not sure if I did that right, but basically it gets to the top, it slows down a bit as it reaches the top. Actually, so hold up, okay, X is that one. I think it's just on the wrong type. Hold up. Okay, it's treating Y as the rotation, sure. We have to keep in mind this is all in quaternions. So quaternions is a way of rotating in 3D space. It's used in game engine, so it's used in in Blender. It's just a way of tracking 3D space really well. But it also means that XYZ is not XYZ literally. So this is the Y value, which makes it a little bit easier to see what's going on as well. So you can see here, it reaches the bottom at Y15, which in this case is actually swinging up. And then at Y28, it's as far back, right? So Y rotation is forward, is negative, and backwards is positive. Ventacle Productions are going to like you as an experienced special who's also learning more on how to use their knowledge. You can make a deal with them. Maybe. I definitely will check it out. I have the Discord server name saved in my personal Discord that I use to keep track of things, so I'll definitely look into them and see what can happen there. So we want to smooth as it hits the top, and then go down. It's changing this doesn't do anything. If we do it like that, yeah, I think if we go like that, that would slow down the speed at which it reaches here. But it hits a negative. We don't want that. Oh, yeah. I think we'll just stick with the in-between frames. You need to use Hyalactic's link to get there. Yeah, I'll definitely make sure that I am going to their channel and checking it out. Okay, so there's some weird snapping going on here, right here. And that's because 28 and 20 and 1 is incorrect now. So we're going to select everything. We're going to copy frame 30 and paste that for frame 1 again, because frame 30 is kind of the latest version of all of this. And we can see what's going on here as well. On the right shoulder, it's twisting in but not sticking out, so we need to fix that like that. And that gives it a more natural stick out. Also means the arm is going to stick out a bit more. And then on frame 28, arm's going to stick in further. So there's like some pause happening once it reaches here. It's slowly smoothing in. So what we can do then is we can actually change interpolation to use pure linear and see if that changes anything. It should make some parts more jagged and some parts a bit smoother. I think it's better. It's hard to tell. But if we go back into the camera view, yeah, I think what we'll do, we won't use linear. We'll also shrink this back to probably about 24 frames. So that'll be here. That'll be -4. Which would bring that up to 12. That should go to 6. And this should go to... no, 24. So yeah, 12. That'll be 6. Then should be 18. Yeah. Okay. And let's reset the timeline. Where's... where'd the time go? There's supposed to be a time setting. But... what's there? Am I... no, I'm not going blind. It's just not there. Okay. Oh, sorry. Timeline. There we go. And we'll change that back to 24. That'll speed it up, which I think will help. And what I want as well is I want the right arm here to just swing a little bit further forward. Further up, mostly. So, we're just going to go a little bit further up like that. Now, we haven't animated the arms yet, or the hands, sorry. So we'll do that as well. First, let's go grab frame 24, copy it back here again. Like so. And your wrists pretty much just follow the way that you're moving. So at the end, it's going to be sticking left for the right arm because it's swinging that way. And then as it's swinging back, it's also going to be rotating back. Like that. And like that. When it reaches the end, it'll be rotating all the way to the back position. And then back to 6. We'll be swinging forward again. Like so. Even twist it a bit. Copy frame 24 to frame 1. And that gives it a little bit more natural movement as well. Let's do that for the left arm. So frame 1, it's stuck far back, like so. Get to frame 6, it's swinging forward, so the hands moved a little bit forward, like so. Go to frame 12, and it will be rotated in, it will be rotated up, it'll even be twisted a bit in. Frame 18, it's swinging back again. And then frame 24 will be the same as frame 1. Next, we'll just go ahead and rotate those fingers again, which are quite simple. Let's delete that. We're just gonna rotate these in a bit, like so. And make sure that's actually in position properly. And we don't need to rotate each finger for each swing. All we need to do is have like a swinging motion in the hand, right? So having them kind of close like this is a swinging motion. Technically, when the arm's back, your fingers might be more straight, but you're not going to see it because it's first person, so it does not matter. So let's also watch all of this. Delete frame 24. And we'll just bring this in a little bit more, like so. We might need to fix this again. Make sure those fingers are good. And let's see what this looks like without the bones. It'll be... So it's a bit too sharp when it reaches the end. And... I mean, that's mostly it, to be honest. It's just too sharp. So the way to fix that is, like I was saying before, we're going to add in some holding frames. So if I grab, let's say the left arm for now, as it reaches the top on frame 12, what we're going to do is at about frame, let's copy and paste it at frame 11 and at frame 13. And basically, it holds it here for just a little bit before it swings back down. And if we do the same thing here, so frame 24, yeah, 24 and 23, I think. But you don't want it like it literally just stops. So if we removed all of frame 24 as an example, let's see what happens with those fingers. Oh, did I save all of these onto the wrong frame? Let's grab that there. Okay. Now we go here, and if frame 24 is all deleted, no, okay. Move frame 24 goes to frame 25. Basically, what's happening is if this is on frame 24, think of this how it loops. It hits frame 24, freezes here, then it goes back to frame 1, the next frame, and it's that same position. So if we skip a frame, basically push it to 25, it'll keep it actually in line a bit more. So you'll be able to see that it actually swings a little bit faster, hits the top, immediately goes down. Then we'll add our holder frame. So here, and we go frame 11, just a little bit below it, not too much. And frame 13, just a little bit below it. Basically adds some level of smoothing as it reaches the top. Sharp swings, and just little increase, little decrease, swing. Which would be the same here. So we go frame 24 and frame 2. But again, a little bit lower. And on frame 24, paste that. It's a little bit better. It's still very like snappy, which I'm not a fan of. But again, this is also placeholder animation, so it's not too bad for that purpose. Let's check the graph editor though, just make sure that nothing is being weird here over on this frame here. I think it's twisting too much is the issue. Yeah, I mean, this should not be twisted anywhere near as much. Frame 12, have it twist more. And then with the hands, we might even stream bugging out. Doesn't look like it. Okay. Might be worth moving the body a little bit closer potentially. And what I just want to make sure that like no, not close. I mean, maybe I scale it down. I don't want to scale it down because I like having it the way it is, but I don't really want the arm starting from the corner of the screen. That never looks great. But we can see here our janky running animation with a capsule character model. It's not the worst. I mean, yeah, it's definitely very snappy. Like, I think what we could do, possibly to make it a little bit cleaner before we just say it's good enough, is have it as the arm swings, it hits at 12, which means that it should really stick to like 14. Frankly, let's go back to the timeline. 14 in the forearm section. And the shoulder. I gave everything a Bezier curve. Let's just see what that does. I think that's better. Yeah, I think that's way better. Okay. I think some things were on linear, which is why it was bugging out. But now we have that, and it holds it just for one quick second. Well, not a second, but you get what I mean. So now, yeah, see, that looks way better on the left. Like, it swings up slowly and then drops, where this one hits the top and just immediately drops down. So what we'll do, we'll just repeat that. Basically, for frame 24 here, what we'll do, and essentially frame, yeah. So we'll go for frame 24. For frame 2, we'll go out one, and we'll just try to hold it a little bit longer. Try to keep the forearm up. Swings here. We don't want it to go too high up. A little bit higher. And the wrists do need like a stopper. So frame 3, the wrists should kind of start turning. In frame 6, it should really be swung towards the other direction like that. And then same thing for as it goes up, is by like frame 22 or so, it should be as much in as possible, but by frame 18, it should really kind of still be sticking out more straight. Wing up. The wrists should be a little bit less straight. Well, it seems like this one was conquered quickly, don't you think so? Well, see, I do have some animation experience. It's just first person, so I think that helps a lot. Like an example, let's save this. An example would be see if I can find it. It's let's go scene 1 shot. maybe this one. Let's see. Here we go. So like this is an animation I made a while back now, and if we let it play, let's go to just material preview. This is a Minecraft animation. These are filmed slow motion, so that I have more frames to work with, but you get the picture. So I can do animation itself. It's just getting first person to work properly. Because first person is very annoying, because you basically have to work a ton of different tricks that don't usually really matter much, but you have to do them here. Like, if we look at that, I think that's better. And then we just do the same thing for this first, and then we should be able to call it done. Basically, a couple frames before, make it not so much stuck in. Swings up. And as it swings down to 18, it'll already be a lot further back. I mean, let's just see what it looks like, I guess, in game, because that's really going to be the big tell, right? So what we'll do, we will export the bones here as an FBX. And we're going to export this into a folder called animations. Keep the animation. Then we go in here. Did that export? Here we go. I don't know if this is the right way to do it. Probably not. I don't think I can export. Pretty sure you do it as an FBX. And you need to take the actual root clip itself. Place it on here. Do you also have a folder named slime? Yeah, I have a main slimes folder. Put this on the root animation. No. Must be marked as legacy. I need to remember how to do animations in Unity. Actually, I think we just apply the animator, where we create, I mean, we're definitely going to need to create an animation controller anyways, I guess. Let's create an animation controller, call it arms underscore anim controller. And we can just open that up. And we can place root action. We can make it a looping pose. I just don't remember where I'm supposed to be playing this or putting the animator component. Yeah. Controller. So then we're supposed to be. I'm like pretty certain this is not right. Yeah, no. Okay. Actually, it pushed the arms back though. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, let's just have a look at this. You're doing great. I think you have mostly conquered this hurdle. And it's really about just remembering everything that I'm doing, right? Like, I've done animation in the past in Unity, but it's been like a year, right? I've done animation in Blender, but it's been a few months. As well as obviously trying to get it to work for first person. Are you sleepy or did I imagine it? I'm not really tired. I don't know. And it's what? Nearly 10 o'clock now. I've got 10 more minutes, so I'm not tired, but definitely not 100% probably. I don't know. I just want to figure out this animation though. Because like I've done animations before. Honestly, it might be worth just opening up another Unity project that I have. Because I've done it before. I can just have a look at how I did it in there. I think let's do that because frankly, that's going to be way easier than having to go on Google and try to figure out what it wants me to do there. The issue is the way I have my my file explorer is all of my past projects are stored in a condensed format for portfolio. So I have to go like basically rerun the whole Unity project, make a copy of it and stuff. I think this one. Yeah. Just copy that, put that in. Document. We'll just wait for that to transfer over. In the meantime, need to figure this out. Because you got the mesh renderer on Robot Kyle, so like it could be a thing of putting the animator on that, which makes the most sense to me. But I feel like it's supposed to have a rig that's not really being applied properly right now. But I'm not sure. That's the issue, right? Like I just don't know. We can try putting it on the... I wrote aim controller. Oop. Let's fix that real quick. Anim controller. Okay. And it goes straight to root action, which is the animation that we just exported. And it doesn't need to have a transition. That should be fine. It should just go straight to this because it's going straight from entry in. So that should be fine. Though the shoulders are wrong again. The shoulders are always wrong. Okay, if we hit play, I'm pretty sure this is not gonna work, but we'll see. Yeah, no. Robot Kyle has an animator. And if the animator doesn't want to work, then we look at the actual animation clip itself. Right, like all of these here, so surely the arm thing's gonna work. Maybe. And that clearly doesn't. Which is quite rude. It has Robot Carl. Wait. Okay. No, that should be fine. We don't need this. I don't remember. Okay. I'm just gonna try to play a YouTube video on how to do it as well, while I wait for my project to load, because it's a 6 gig project, so it's just gonna take a second to load. So we'll see if we can find anything online about it. Yeah, just export as an FBX, yeah. That's fine. Yeah, we want to keep our armature, which we should do. Have an animation, yeah, export it, selected objects. Rig configure. I mean, we can try setting it to humanoid and just see what that does, but let's see. Characters not in T-pose. I mean, yeah, I technically only have the arms. We don't have a torso, so I don't think we're going to be able to do humanoid. So I think I mean, generic should be fine. Like, I don't see the issue with generic. Where's my other folder? Oh, Unity project. There we go. I have to install a new Unity version because I uninstalled it, of course. Of course I did. I could just open it with Unity 6, technically. Well, that one. Yeah, we'll open it with this one. That'll be fine. Okay. Other Unity project is opening. Let's just give that a second. Okay. Yeah, so we have our animations. I mean, we can always, I guess, if we delete this and just re-export everything, including the arms, because it doesn't hurt to export an animation with the arms, technically. Like, there's no real reason why you can't. So let's do that. And then we'll bring that into Unity. Let's actually call this running anim, import that here, and if the animation was good, you should technically be able to see it work here, which we can see, so that is good. So then it's just, how do I add the animation? Yeah, okay, you put the animator. You get the avatar, which is fine. And that should just play. Okay, so we should be able to just add in our animator here. Not animation, animator. Which we have our own controller, so we can do that, that's fine. And we don't have an avatar, which I assume is just because we're not doing the humanoid type, which is fine. Oh, so we need to redo that. Outside of play mode, there we go. Make sure we don't have the extra animator here. Nothing in flute, that should be fine. And let me just drag this directly in here to entry. And let's go to the animation and we'll just loop the pose and also call this running anim. That should be fine. So if we look at the actual flute anim here, call this running. You should be able to see it as far as I remember, but like in the inspector, but maybe not. The issue is when we hit play, it's not going to run. So, I don't know what's going on there. Oh, actually, there we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. It is working. So, what we need to do is we need to go fix some of the issues. First, shoulders. That needs to be fixed. We'll also put this on the player camera. That way, if we're looking up, we'll still have the animation play. I think that might be a little bit cleaner, but I'm not sure. We need to move them back. So clearly here is not good because you can see in the game view that it's sticking out. So what we should do, move them just a little bit back, which is actually not too bad because, I mean, frankly, these should be like here if you think about it, but we have it all the way in front. So let's see what that looks like now. This should hopefully theoretically be good. So if we were sprinting, there we go. Okay. It's not the worst. Obviously, it's not great, but it's a placeholder, right? I would say maybe we speed it up. I mean, for the speed that we're moving, I think we should move a little bit faster. So we'll swing our arms faster, and I'll also make the forearms actually go in a bit more, I think. Because right now it still looks like it's swinging up, down, up, down. So that's easy enough to fix. All we have to do is take our swing forward here and rotate it in, rotate the shoulder in like so. We'll copy that and paste it in here. Move that there first, then paste it. Then here, we'll grab frame 1 and paste it there. And then for this arm, as we swing in here, we will also swing a little bit further inwards, I think. Which should be fine. And then what we'll do is we will have to fix this, which is now all out of place. So let's go frame 14. Like so. That should be fine. And then here, swing. And then, yeah, we'll do the same thing here on frame 3. We'll just keep it a little bit further in, as it's meant to be. And I will move the wrist a little bit further out. That should be fine. And then the other thing was making it faster. And the way to make it faster is we can always scale this down. So if we go like 0.9, maybe 0.9, skip here, put the end on frame 22. Let's just see what that's like. Okay. What if we tried 0.8? Well, let's even go 0.75, which is pretty quick. So we probably won't do it like this fast, but let's see. Okay. I think 0.825. 0.85 should be good enough. Right, that gives you an 18 frame run cycle. So let's go ahead and save that. So we'll select root, select the hierarchy, and just export it out again as running animation. And then back in Unity, ignore all of that, we will just re-import our running animation. Not duplicate it, re-import it. There we go. We'll rename it again. Root nim. No, what am I saying? Running anim. Make sure it's still loopable. In running, give it running anim. Let's see what this looks like. This should be faster, which should be a little bit better, I think, for the speed that we're moving. I think that's better. I think that looks a little bit better. Yeah, I would say it's better. Not great, but better. And that's what we're aiming for. We got my other Unity project opening now, but I don't need it because we fixed it. We do have errors coming out now, so I'm not sure what's going on here. Of some variables m_targets. I have no idea what that's coming from, which is really annoying because I don't want errors. Errors are not fun, not fun. But it should be fine. We'll see. Okay, now we have that. What we need to do is actually set up something proper. So we're going to make an empty state with the transition. And that will have no motion at all. And that will transition to running. So we're going to delete this transition now. So we make this one default state and give a transition from new state, which is your idle movement, or idle, I guess, and then running. And the way this will work is we're going to go parameters and we're going to make a new Boolean called isSprinting. Let's extend that out a bit. You can do it, or can it to you. I can do it, I promise. If sprinting is true, run. If it's not true, go back to idle. I mean, frankly, that's all you need. This, by the way, is going to get 1,000 times more complicated by the end of this. We're going to have a huge spider web of different animations. But for now, idle to running. Then, all we have to do, go over to the player script, character controller script, and we'll open that up. Visual Studio is just going to take a second, so it's black just for a couple seconds. Enter Visual Studio wants to load, please. Okay, Visual Studio's just taking a long second. There we go. If idle for 1 minute, then dance. I mean, once we add a full character model, we might just do that. I mean, if you can see, and this is a good rule for any game development, if you can see a character, any character, it could be an NPC, it could be another player, it could be yourself. If you see a full body for more than like 15 seconds, at most 30, you want an idle animation to play. Like a, looks around, flexes muscle, dances, whatever. Doesn't matter what it is, you need it. Because by adding that in, it just makes the game feel more alive, right? It feels more immersive because characters aren't literally just repeating the same animation constantly. You just need a little bit of breakup to make that work. Okay, let's go here. Right now, I don't know why Visual Studio is just not loading in my actual, like, the colors and stuff, which is really annoying because I don't want everything white. It's really hard to tell what I'm doing. Oh, there we go. Okay, now I can see. It looks real. Exactly. Just makes it look a little bit more alive. So what we need now is we're going to go over to the animation variables. So this will be a general variable for now, at least. And it's just going to be a private animator, and we're going to call this arms animator. In start, we're going to go get it, which I think we actually need to technically go get the arms model. So let's do that. That'll be a private... we can do a private game object. That'll be fine. Private game object. Call it arms object. And we're just going to go arms animator is get component animator for the arms object, like so. Now we're going to have to add this ourselves, I believe. I got the other Unity project still trying to load. I need to just close out of that now because we do not need it. Okay, so on the player, because this is our custom inspector, we're just going to have to edit this ourselves. We're still having these errors and I don't know why. It's really getting annoying. But let's open up our movement controller. And can we get a game object from here? I don't know if we can do it from a custom inspector. We should be able to. Surely we're able to. Maybe? Object field, yeah. Okay. Copy movement. Call this general. Bring this to the top. In general, we only need one singular value, which is an object field. And we're just gonna call it arms animator. And frankly, we're probably gonna rename all this stuff at some point, but now it's fine. And it's just called arms animator here as well. Arms animator. I think we do lowercase here if I'm... No, we're doing capitals. Okay. Arms animator. Now we're going to player. I think that should be good. Okay. Placeholder arms. There we go. Oh, no. Sorry. This is not arms animator. What am I saying? Arms object. UI builder. Arms object. There we go. Now this should stick. So if I were to assign this, placeholder arms, like so. Click out, click back on, great. Now, all we have to do is when we are sprinting, which is in here, handle sprinting. Nice, handy thing for us. If you're sprinting, which is this one here, arms animator dot parameters. Let me remember how this works. Is sprinting. Nope. Okay, yeah, definitely not that way. Set, yeah, set value. There we go. Set value to true. Maybe. No? No, that's not it. Oh no, yeah, because we need the actual type. How do I use an animator? You are going to do a different animation. What do you mean by that? Like, right now we're just trying to link the animation so that it's when you're sprinting. I don't think we're gonna have time to do another animation today, but we'll definitely make sure everything's linked up. When we actually go to make the proper character models, we're going to be redoing all the animations and make sure they're actually good. Because these are not good animations. I mean, look, I can admit that these are not good animations. So we'll remake them when we actually get the new player model in. Okay, Unity animator set parameter. Let's figure this out. Like faster. I think the speed at which this animation is good. Oh, okay. I don't even need to set it by .parameters. Set Boolean. I haven't used an animator for... Yeah, I'd say it's been nearly 2 years now. Like, properly used Unity's animator. Which is not great. But we're relearning, and that's all that matters, right? Basically, all we're doing, set that to true there, set this to false. And add an extra grounded check for the sprint animation here. Which technically should be at the here as well. I don't know why we're not doing it actually. We might do that, but now theoretically, question mark, I move around. It's very laggy, so don't mind that, but we're moving around. I throw my slime. And why is it so laggy? Where's the stats here? It's not even that it's like, I mean, it's lagging, but yeah. Okay. Holding shift. There we go. And now we're running. Run. Let go of shift. And we stop. We don't have a like smooth transition. So we do need to get that. I don't know why it's lagging so much. Why do you lag so much? I mean, I know I have like 1,000 programs open right now. which is really not good, but it should not be lagging this much. Well, they are not that bad animations. Well, thank you for your compliments, but they are bad animations. I mean, like, you have to keep in mind, I am somewhat of an animator. Like, I can actually animate. These are kind of rush jobs just to get the vibe of how it's supposed to look and work. I do wonder though what would it look like if we put Z at like negative 0.25 or so. If you want a smoother transition, make it slower at the beginning. Well, see, what you actually want to do is you want to have an in-between animation, which is a completely separate animation that goes from idle to running, right? Usually that's like a walk animation, because if the start of running is slower, when it loops after 2 arm swings, it's slower again. So if you're sprinting for like 5 minutes straight, it's going to look very weird because every second your arms start moving slower. So usually you do either a like an in-between animation, or you let Unity handle it, because Unity does have some blending, just not a ton of blending as far as I remember. But also keep in mind, like one good example, let's go to scene view and you can see what the animation's actually doing here. I think I meant something like that, but you explained it better. Yeah, pretty much just, yeah, in between animations. So you can see here, right, it's just snapping instantly with no blending. So Unity does have a way to blend. I believe that's in the transitions here, if I'm not mistaken. First, okay, that should save permanently, that's fine. So what we'll do is we don't want any exit time when we stop sprinting, and when we start sprinting, we also don't want any exit time. So immediately, what that's going to do is the moment I start sprinting, it's instantly moving my arms, which is good because it took like a second for my arms to start moving. Now we need to add the smoothing, which there should be a transition. I mean, it is the transition duration. There should be... Oh, yeah, here. Source state does not have motion. So, basically, we don't have an animation for idle. So, what it's doing, like a good way to kind of show you, is... I might want to save this as an action before... you know, I don't really care too much. Okay. What it's doing is it's moving from here, but this is not a saved animation. So Unity is actually helpful. Unity is helpful. You just need to know how to use it. But this is not an animation. We didn't save it as an animation, like just the arms itself. So Unity doesn't have like a looping animation to then transition, right? So what we want to do is let's just move the arms down like this on both sides. Down like so. And we'll save that. And, you know, 12 frames later, we can, you know, move this a little bit. 18 frames. basically just some random movement as an idle animation. And copy this one for 18, move that to 19. Let's see what's happening here. Oh, whoops. Everything moved to 19. There we go. Oh. What? No. Copy everything over to 19. No? Why? What? What is going on? Here? Paste. Thank you. Okay. So let's just make sure that's not too straight. Yeah, something like that. Literally just a basic idle animation, right? You're not going to see it. That's the thing. You're not going to see this, so don't ever worry about animating it properly. If it's a third-person game, you'll see it. Not this. Unity has been, until now, sometimes given you a headache. Unity is... It's like the best tool and the single worst tool at the same time, which is never fun. Okay, we can call this idle_anim. We'll just save that. And then when we go here, let's import our new animation. Arms, animations, idle animation. Make it loopable. And you can see that in the bottom right here. So that's good. Let's just call this idle_anim. And apply it. Then here, we're just going to grab the idle_anim clip, chuck that in there. So now, what we're going to see, now that we have an idle animation, for one, our character is going to look a little bit nicer in third person. It doesn't look great, but it's something. And then when we start sprinting, you see how like it blends into that there? That's pretty much... I mean, that's realistically all you need, right? That is something that we can call all-in-one special. Yeah, so now, if we go into game view here, and I'm moving around, right? Moving around like normal, and I start sprinting, it's way smoother instantly. Which is great. I mean, frankly, realistically all you need. And you can see when I stop sprinting, the arms move down. They don't snap down. And that's all you need. And the way this is set up basically means... oh, not yet, but essentially... It looks like meme Among Us crewmate. That is true. Especially with the capsule. The capsule's great. Everyone has a default capsule. And they're great. Now, one thing we can actually notice... okay, no, I think it was just bugging out there where the arms were, like, sticking out for a second. But no. These are fine. This is great. I love the fact that, like, we just have arms on my capsule now. The avatar. Yeah, this is great. So now basically you have movement baked in. There's a few issues with this, right? If I jump, it's still playing the animation. And if I'm standing still and start sprinting, it plays the animation, right? So there's a pretty simple way to fix that. Now, the reason why it's still playing when we jump would be because sprint is still being pressed, but we're not grounded. So we'll just need to also add in the Boolean here is sprinting as false. And that will handle that. And then as far as the movement goes, we're going to add in an additional if check, which is going to be our velocity. So our linear velocity. And if we just checked magnitude as an example, is greater than 0.1f, maybe about 0.1, we'll see. And we do that, that will stop it trying to play the sprint animation basically when you're standing still, which is good. So now I hold shift, nothing's happening. I start running and it plays the run animation. And as you can see, I jump and it stops playing. So here in the air, and when I land, I keep playing the run animation, which is good because we're going to need to also play the jump animation, which we need to make first, right? Now, this does have one downside still, though. Okay, yeah, two downsides. First, if you're holding shift and sprinting, it's playing. When you stop running, it still keeps playing. So we need to look into that. And then the other thing is while you're sprinting and you're sprinting backwards, it's also going to play this animation, which we don't want because it looks a little bit unnatural when running backwards. Because you don't run like that when you run backwards, right? So those are two bugs. The first one would just be if you're on the ground and you're holding sprint and the velocity is not greater than 0.1, then another else statement, arms animator set bool is sprinting false. And by the way, this is not what you're supposed to do. We will fix this, I promise. There's a lot that I keep promising to fix now that I think about it, though. But you don't really want to keep spamming set booleans everywhere, because the truth is, that's going to get very complicated very fast. I mean, imagine every single issue with sprinting, you have to set the boolean. But then, every time you jump, you're going to have a list of setting booleans, and then you're going to have to start setting booleans at the same time, like is sprinting false, but jumping true so that it plays the right animation. That's going to become a mess, so you don't want to do it like this. Which we are doing it like this, so not good, but I will fix it at some point, I promise. The other thing is checking this linear velocity instead of doing the magnitude, because the magnitude is basically allowing us to sprint backwards, which I have sprint backwards, you just don't want to play the animation. So instead, what we should do is do what? We can get the direction, I guess, of movement. Let's try that. So if we go, what do we want to do? We need to, don't do it even when I am doing it. Yeah, that's fair. I will say, maintaining code is possibly the worst thing about being a programmer, because it gets so big so fast. Like, you end up with 10,000 lines of code, but, you know, half the code is tied to the other half, and you can't delete anything because then you're gonna have to go through like 20 different scripts to keep everything consistent. It's a horrible situation. Let's see. I mean, like the other thing that we could do, which is also what you're kind of supposed to do as well, is instead of having like if true, else, false, 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 try to have everything that makes it false at the top, and then you just set it to true if it hasn't already returned. That's usually the best way to handle this stuff. And what that basically means is go, if sprint is not pressed, or you're not on the ground, or your magnitude is not moving, then have is sprinting set to false and return. Which honestly we might do because it's a good system. So let's actually do that. Basically, if everything that is needed for sprinting is not true, then we know we're not sprinting. So we can just ignore it then, right? So like this, and otherwise linear velocity, magnitude greater than 0.1 here. Then this, you go, is sprinting, is false, and you return, which basically just ends it all. Then at the end, you go, is sprinting, is true. And we do the same thing, set Boolean for the animation to true. Otherwise, our animation is false. This should theoretically work, and it's just cleaner because now you just have a true or a false, which is exactly, you know, all you need, right? You need to just know, are you sprinting or are you not? You don't need a complicated thing about it. Okay, so what we can do to check if we're moving forward is we can check a dot vector. So if we go actually, yeah, we don't need the magnitude. We can ignore this one. And what we'll do is we'll just simply go, if the dot product of your transform forward and your velocity, which is your rigid body linear velocity, normalized, is, just want to check, if it is greater than 0.1 f, basically saying if you're moving forward in any direction, like it could be diagonal, but if you're moving in a forward direction, that's when you want to play the animation. And I'm allowing sprinting backwards, so we're not going to worry about having this inside the if statement. That'll be separate. But we do want to worry about it for the animation. So now, I hold shift, nothing's happening. I'm moving and I hold shift, and also nothing is happening. So we have broken something. And I think I can see why. Because when I'm jumping, it's working. So, yep. Yeah. If you're not sprinting and you're not grounded. We had it the other way around. So it was basically saying you're not sprinting when you're on the ground. Which is not it. Okay. Hold shift. Nothing's happening. We're moving forward. And I hold shift. And we start sprinting. Let go. Hold shift. Stop moving. Still have that issue. That's fine. We jump. It stops. Which is great. And then if I hold shift and start moving backwards, or even sideways, we have no more backwards movement. Like no more animation, which is great. I will go now, but it was great being here. Try to sleep well, and don't you dare sleep less than 8 hours. I need to see the end results, and I know I don't get them well done if you are not well. That's fair. I should probably go to sleep soon so that I am well rested. This week will be a bit interesting, I think, in terms of streaming, because I don't really have any assessments due this week. So I will try to stream more than once a week, I promise. One day. But we shall see. I will see you next time, RK. Thanks for jumping in the stream, and we'll continue development for Slime Pioneers. Now, I just need to fix when you stop moving, it's still running. So let's see why that's happening. Sprint's not being pressed. You are on the ground, but sprint's not being pressed. So it sets it to false. So I don't know why when you're running and you stop moving, it keeps playing the animation. Because jump works. If jump works, the actual animation should stop when you stop moving. Somehow it's skipping over this and then going straight into here and counting that as true, even though you stop moving, which is confusing. Like, we can debug log this, frankly. Let's call it sprinting. Or not sprinting, sorry. Let's see if this works. If I can get this working, I can then head off for tonight. Because it's almost 11 now. So, check the console. Okay. I'm sprinting, that's fine. And then I let go. And it still says I'm sprinting. So it's because we're on the ground and we are holding sprint. Okay, I get it. So yeah, we do want to have a velocity check here. Square magnitude is greater than 0.1. Greater than 0, technically. Just as long as it's moving. I think magnitude. I don't think we need to do square magnitude. Okay, let's see if this works. If it works, we can comment out the code. Maybe try to fix these bugs because they're really making me annoyed. And then head off. Let's see. Please work. Nope. Now it's just not letting me sprint at all. Okay. Oh, sorry. If magnitude is 0. Because we're doing the opposite, because this is all for setting false. Basically, if you're not moving, then do that. Okay, that should be fine. Now, start sprinting and I let go. There we go. Way better. Does take a second. Which we can do we can fix by just saying if the magnitude is less than 0.1, which is easy enough. We just go 0.1f, go less than. That should fix that. So let's actually start commenting this through again. If the player is not sprinting, set sprinting data to false. And we're going to be returning set is sprinting to false. Otherwise, set is sprinting to true. And if the player is moving forward, play sprinting animation. And we can delete all of that old code. That's a way cleaner sprinting system. And that should just work. So now we're going to hit play and let's see if that works. Loading sprint. I stop moving. And yeah, it immediately pretty much drops. And also, yeah, sprinting sideways, backwards, start moving forward. And we got the sprinting animation. Which is great. We jump and it does not play, which is good. And we start moving backwards and all of a sudden it's running again. So we need to fix that. The only way to fix that one is to have an else statement, I think. Because yeah, I think this would be the only way to stop that one from happening. Because if we try to put that here in the main if statement to stop sprinting, or to deny sprinting essentially, we're not going to be able to actually like increase our speed when moving, which is not what we want. So realistically, this is the best method to do it. Which is fine. I mean, it's not too bad, right? 3 total is sprinting sets, 1 true, 2 false. Not the worst. And it's still in a pretty clean way. Clean method. So else stop playing sprinting animation. And that should work fine. We still have these 3 errors in my console, which I have no idea where they came from, which is not good. Not good at all. So we're sprinting and we start going backwards. Yeah. There we go. As simple as that. Great. Now, what is going on here? I have no idea. Let me see if there's any information on these errors, because I mean, they only happened once I started importing this stuff, so surely it's something to do with these settings, but I'm not sure. It could be these, to be honest, because URP. Actually, it might be that. Let's see. Let me just check settings, make sure everything's here, still HDRP. Let's hit play and see if the errors are still there. They are. So that's... Oh, we got something about URP now. URP global. Okay. Yeah, it's now thinking that we're in URP. We are not in URP. This might be a problem. Everything we do should be... Yep, HDRP, that's fine. A scriptable render pipeline is in use. Settings in the built-in. Yep, that's fine. It should be fine. We have our HDRP quality, but there's definitely no URP, which is good. But it's going to try to recreate again. We may have made an issue by importing a URP asset. because I don't want this every time I try to hit play. Edit, project settings, graphics. And then URP. Which I understand that it's there. I don't want URP. Here, we'll put this so the stream can see it. It just keeps importing URP, and I don't want that. And I don't know how to fix that. It's like, I can just delete it. But it's gonna come back, and we don't want it to come back. Packages, no, nothing there. Should be nothing else here. I mean, nothing in settings. This is all HDRP, so that should be fine. I mean, hopefully it'll be fine once I relaunch my Unity project. So we'll see there, I guess. But for now, we'll probably, I mean, leave it off here. We have a really bad jittery idle animation, but we have animations connected now at least, and we have a sprinting animation, so we can see that here, which is great. We do have a thing where if you're running down a ramp for like half a second, it stops the animation, so I do need to look into that, but otherwise that's fine. And the sprinting animation is tied to the camera, so no matter what, you're seeing the same animation. I think that's fine. I don't think you need to have it tied to the actual player, so that should be fine. So with that said, we got our animations linked in. It's all connected properly. The next stream will go over probably like a jump animation. And I'd like to get started on like aiming and throwing animations. We'll see if we can get them done in the next stream, because aiming and throwing have a few extra additions that they need. Like the animation might be done, but when doing aiming and throwing, we also need to actually be able to grab the capsule model. And we also need to make a capsule model, right? Make a capsule model, grab the capsule model, aim it, and have it in your player's hand, throw it, let go from your hand. So we'll see if we get that done or not. That's some extra work, but that'll be for next stream. So with that said, I will see you guys next time, whenever next time is.